Hello everyone. Welcome back to another Commander review for Magic the Gathering. Today we are starting the Betrayers of Kamigawa set, and we're starting with Chisei, Heart of Oceans, who is a legendary spirit. It is a 4/4. It has a mana value of 4, 2 generic and 2 blue. It has the flying keyword and a triggered ability. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Chisei unless you remove a counter from a permanent you control. Which is a bit crazy and very unique ability for a commander to have. So let's get right on into it. Very straightforward card. As long as you can remove a counter from something that you control, you can keep Chisei alive, which can be anything you want. It can be +1/+1 counters, -1/-1 counters, loyalty counters, storage counters, charge counters, shield counters, stun counters. The list goes on. There's a lot of ways you can build this commander. So let's get right on into it. We have Final Fantasy spoilers starting. At the time of this recording, Final Fantasy spoilers have just started. So by the time you guys are watching this, we're well into spoiler season of Final Fantasy. But one of the things that they introduced in this set was the summon cycles of creatures and sagas, which are represented in the Final Fantasy games as these powerful eons and entities that you can summon to do battle for you. So, Summon Shiva, really cool card. Brand new concept coming out that we have an enchantment creature saga creature type. This one is an elemental for Summon Shiva. The main idea, however, is the same. If you were doing original sagas, it would still work just the same as this. The way you want this to work is with Chisei on the battlefield. You want to be able to repeatedly use Shiva's first ability as many times as possible by removing that second lore counter during your upkeep. Or rather, hold on, let me see. This is, and after your draw stat. Sorry, I apologize. So even on your third turn with Summon Shiva, you can remove that second or first lore counter, depending on when you do it, and you will always be able to do the Heavenly Strike ability multiple times. Now, this obviously is not the strongest saga that you could do this with, but it is one of the new ones coming out, and at the time of this recording, it was one of the first that came out, so it's the one I used. But there are some powerful sagas coming out in Final Fantasy from the Lord of the Rings set and from previous sets in general that had saga focuses. This is a crazy way to utilize Chisei's ability by repeatedly using a single saga's ability multiple times. It's really, really cool. And then the deck idea that I am building around for Chisei is a Super Friends deck where I'm flooding the board with a bunch of planeswalkers, doing crazy shenanigans, building this crazy draw engine that I'm hopefully going to win the game with cards like Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, and of course I'm able to keep Chisei on the battlefield as a potential blocker because I can simply remove a loyalty counter and then proliferate a bunch of times to make up for that small cost to keep Chisei in play. So really cool. This is another way you can build Chisei loyalty counters. And if you wanted to be really specific or like Vorthosy, you could build it just around Jace. He is the predominant blue planeswalker, and there's tons of iterations of Jace. You could easily build a Jace commander deck with Chisei as the commander. A popular deck idea is, of course, just counters in general. Time of Ice is another example of a saga that you might want to repeatedly use over and over and over again. Power Conduit uses can remove counters from things to also do other shenanigans like Time of Ice. And then Clock Spinning is a little bit of a unique case for this roster, and I'm going through these cards individually because, again, you can go multiple ways with Chisei. Clock Spinning, I believe, choose a counter on target permanent or suspended card. So clock spinning is unique because clock spinning can do any kind of counter on a permanent, but it does also relate to suspended cards which use time counters. And time counters is another thing that Chisei can use because your suspended cards won't be able to be interacted with Chisei, but there are plenty of cards with vanishing or that use time counters while they're on the battlefield that you can use Chisei's ability to remove time counters that way to pay the cost. So again, lots of different counters that you can use to pay Chisei's cost. And this is a popular EDH rec deck idea. And then lastly, a janky build around is building a deck. This one is going to need a lot of love and it's going to need a lot of work, but I think we can get there. I think it'd be some fun building challenge for players to do. And as we continue on with Wizards of the Coast, I have no doubt we will get more cards like this. But this is a deck where we want to remove counters as fast as possible. In mono blue, it's not as easy as mono black, because if you wanted to do something like Dark Depths and you wanted to get that Merilage token into the battlefield as fast as possible, you simply use like Hex Drinker, which I think is a black card that would just remove all the counters off of it. This is a slower way to do it, but it can still do the same thing. You can flip over your Thing in the Ice a little bit faster with Chisei. You can get more benefits with your Soul Cipher board with Chisei. Really cool idea where you are trying to remove counters as fast as possible. Another example of time counters and vanishing. There are some cards, I think there's one blue card in particular that I can't remember the name of, but there's a blue card that has vanishing, and you want it to remove its time counters because the sooner its time counters are gone, it makes a token copy of itself. It like doubles itself, and then each of those has vanishing counters, and then they double themselves, and then they double themselves, but they have to remove the time counters for that to work. So really cool stuff there that you could do with Chisei. And that's going to do it for Chisei, Heart of Oceans. So far, a lot of the commanders in this set have been very popular. I don't know what they did with Kamigawa and why they made the Kamigawa Legends so cool, but they did, and therefore they're really popular and a lot of people like to build around them. So this has a lot more than 10 deck ideas that you can build around it, so it does have the rank of S, and it's a really cool card. Like I said, you could, if you can think of any counter-based archetype, whether it's stun counters, shield counters, loyalty counters, you name any kind of counter that you could build a deck around of, this could be a commander for that specific counter type. Or you could just do generic counters and just go crazy with it. Absolutely cool and unique card that I really haven't seen much outside of like this card. There are a few exceptions to that, but again, there are very few cards like this. Really cool ability. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If there's anything I missed or any ideas or deck synergies I did not talk about. And thank you guys so much for all your support. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!